away overnight when Donald Trump lost. And for anyone who had been holding out hope that maybe there would be a reset to quote unquote normal or the way it used to be, that's clearly been a fool's folly to think that. The Republican Party has doubled down on Trumpism. We know that by the way in which they've refused to even embrace the peaceful transition of power, refusing to acknowledge that Joe Biden is the president-elect. That the mandate that he has is even stronger than the one that Donald Trump had in 2016 when you look at the total numbers and the number of states that Biden won, Electoral College being the same, flipping 5 states that Trump won in 2016. And yet Republicans are doubling down on this deliberate effort to try to circumvent the democratic process. There's no going back for the Republican Party, and that's the reality that I think everybody in Washington now needs to understand. They're not going to wake up and say, oh, we've been wrong all these 4 years, we're sorry. They're going to keep going down this path.
When it comes to the Tea Party, Chris, I mean, they were virulently against Obama. I mean, they anti-Obama to the max, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. And, we saw that during my time there, and it was the rise in 2009, 2010 that really fueled the Republican takeover of the House and then obviously the Senate going forward. Kurt is 100% right. I mean, look, regardless of who is in office right now, we need to get past these divisions. And what is heartening is the way that the president-elect has tried to draw a sharp contrast over the past couple of days from where the current president is. Look, I don't know if Joe Biden can be successful in bringing the country together, but the tone is where most Americans are right now. And I'm optimistic that hopefully something can get done in the next Congress with divided government, because that's certainly what the American people want.
Speaking of President Obama, I know you guys know that he was asked about this in an interview with 60 Minutes and slamming Republicans, in fact, in his answer for going along with President Trump's baseless claims about election fraud. Let's take a listen to this.
They appear to be motivated in part because the president doesn't like to lose and never admits loss. I'm more troubled by the fact that other Republican officials who clearly know better are going along with this, are humoring him in this fashion. It is one more step in delegitimizing not just the incoming Biden administration, but democracy generally. And that's a dangerous path.
White House Chief of Staff John Kelly said in a Politico interview that Donald Trump will never admit defeat. So overall, Zerlina, what do you make of the Republican Party's role in this? How much longer can they continue until they have to contradict the president?
I think they're likely going to continue until the Georgia runoffs in January, Alex, because that's the reason they are doing this. I think it's very interesting to see Mitch McConnell and other Republicans accept victory in the same election they are claiming widespread fraud. New Congress people showed up to orientation yesterday, Alex. All of those people are going based on the results of their elections, and nobody's claiming widespread fraud. So if you're willing to accept a victory and Senate seats and House seats, then you need to also accept the results in the same election for president, which put Joe Biden in the White House and Donald Trump on his way out.
Yeah. So, Kurt, there's some new reporting, and it's from NBC News, and it says that doctors close to President-elect Joe Biden's transition team are working to develop their own plans to mass distribute a coronavirus vaccine, concerned that Trump administration planning will leave them underprepared when he leaves office. How much could the administration's refusal to acknowledge Biden's win hurt not only the incoming administration, but the American people when it comes to combating COVID?
Well, and that's really the dangerous thing about what we're seeing right now from Trump. The refusal to allow the peaceful transition of power to begin, the refusal of people like the GSA administrator to literally begin unlocking government resources for the Biden transition team means that they're not operating with the government net. They're not going to be able to immediately do the things they're going to need to do to address the coronavirus. This is all happening at the same time that the coronavirus pandemic is getting worse in this country, where we're having record numbers of hospitalizations and illnesses and deaths. And you would think that under any scenario, all politics aside, that would be the first and foremost priority of the current president of the United States. And so, Joe Biden's having to go in right now and build a government effectively separate from the one we have because he can't get the help that he needs, the resources that he needs, the nonpartisan things that need to be happening. And that's why I thought it was so important, by the way, the appointment of Ron Klain as chief of staff, someone who was the Ebola czar, someone who has lived through a pandemic in this country and navigated us through it in a way in which we had hardly any loss of life at all during that pandemic. We at least are going to have a return to competency, a return to fact and science and truth. And I'm confident that the Biden transition team, with all the experience that they have, are going to be able to do everything they need to do in spite of Trump's efforts to sabotage the Biden administration as well as American people's public health.
Hey.
And I want to weigh in again. I don't go along with legalizing narcotic drugs, regardless whether it's heroin or Oxycontins or cocaine or mushrooms or shrooms or anything else. I don't go along with that because these are all controlled substances that even sometimes science, the doctors, have trouble manufacturing these substances and issuing them out to the general public the way that they should be issued out to the general public. Also, in regards to this being sabotaged, this sabotaging that we're seeing that's now surfacing in the year 2020 did not just start overnight, and it just didn't start over somebody like Donald Trump that has fanned the flames to make it come alive. These are all part of the results of what went on during the 1980s, during Ronald Reagan and the Bush era. Because things was not handled properly pertaining to biblical Bible prophecy in the church sector. Now it is exploded. It has multiplied. It has mutated into what we're seeing now. And in a way, I was thinking a while ago, being a spectator looking at this and being familiar with different artists that gets on a stage and plays, regardless whether it's rock and roll, country, regardless whether it's gospel, regardless whether it's somebody just giving a lecture or a minister giving a sermon. In a way, it's kind of like these people are coming out and they're saying, encore, encore, encore. We want more of Trump. We want to hear what our leader, our fearless leader has to say about all this. Encore, encore. And it's almost like they're begging him to come back out to the main platform. It's almost like live Broadway that we're seeing, but instead of it being manufactured in a setting towards it being Hollywood or a screenplay, this is actually occurring in the American streets, in people's American lives here in the 2020 century. So yes, people are subjected under some sort of a bewitching. They have been bewitched. They have been bamboozled. They have been brainwashed in thinking that by them doing what they're doing is going to cause a difference in the results. And the thing about it is, it's not going to cause a difference in the results. If it does anything, all it's going to do is add that much more insult to misery. In other words, it's going to make things even worse than what they already are. Especially due to the fact that we're dealing with a major health crisis pertaining to the pandemic. You couldn't pay me enough money to go out there and walk around in all that crowd right there today, even though it's outside without proper mask and without many a prayer. And you know, I do not want to jeopardize my health over something that to me is futile. Because the only thing that they're going to get done, they're going to be able to sound their voice. They're going to wind up on 2 or 3 national known media platforms pertaining to the Proud Boys. They're going to get their message out there. But as far as there actually being a movement in their message, because the jury has done already made their decision about this election, they're not going to change the election. They're not going to take Mr. Biden, Joe Biden, and put him back into a closet and all of a sudden bring back Donald Trump. It's not going to happen. Not on a legal level. And I don't know that it could happen even on an illegal level pertaining to it being civil war. Because it's very obvious there's more of them than it is those. The Democrats struck, I think it was something like 75 million versus 70 million. I mean, the Democrats actually got the popular vote this time. They not only got the electrical vote, the college vote, but they also got the popularity vote. So there's more people that wanted change to get out of the clinches of Donald Trump than there are those of going the opposite direction. There's more people that was against Donald Trump than there was people that was for Donald Trump. Period. It's just like the Olympic Games. You got a one-shot deal towards trying to hit the brass ring. And if you hit it, hallelujah. And if you don't, better luck next time. It actually displays unfairness to the American democracy. And it undermines our democracy towards seeing something happen on this massive scale. If something is broke, you fix it. If it's not working, you change it. That's what elections are about. That way you do not remain stagnated in the same spot. I'm still going back 30-something years ago, whenever the people was bamboozled in not only how the Cold War ended pertaining to the Russian and the American relationship, but how that those same people led us down a path in spending over $6 trillion on an endless war that we never should have fought to begin with, pertaining to Saddam Hussein having massive bombs of destruction. What we're seeing is the boiling point of the results of what happened then. It just so happens Donald Trump was the flame. He was the one that was airing the flames of the fire, and now we're seeing it surfacing the way that it's surfacing. It's really sad in how that various people in this country thought that they was going to be able to undermine God, undermine the creation of God, and undermine the people that actually stood for a righteous, holy God. It's really, really sad that it is escalated into this. Plus, if you look at all the souls that has probably been lost, went to hell, if you look at all the economical damage as well as the environmental damage, it's really, really sad in how that this has unfolded in the past 30-something years. And of course, you got people such as myself that has been a spectator that has tried to help by putting out various messages, but never was listened to. And as far as I know, I'm still not being listened to, other than me posting a few things on my YouTube platform and I may get 10, 12, 15 hits. What's 10 or 12, 15 hits in comparison to almost 400 million people in this country alone, not counting the 7 billion people that's on the planet? What is my little 10 or 12 hits? How is my little 10 or 12 hits going to affect or resonate any type of differences one way or the other pertaining to what is going on the streets in regard to this type of reality? The only thing that I can do is keep chug-a-lugging along. And hopefully my message will reach the right person. And hopefully one day my message will get out to the general public pertaining to what has actually occurred here. Good luck to all of us. That's the reason why we say this at the Windmill Ministries here at 291 Thompson Road, Sharon, Tennessee, zip code 38255. Good luck to each and every one of us, because we had already foreseen that this boiling point was going to happen. We didn't know that it was going to happen with Donald Trump, towards him fanning the flames. But now we can see it absolutely manifesting itself the way that it's manifesting itself, that is only going to create that much more anxiety and that many more problems in that many more American people's lives.
Looking way down the road with you, Chris, there's been the reporting that once the election is certified, Donald Trump will announce his 2024 campaign. As I'm thinking ahead there, what are the chances that he runs in 24? What are the chances the RNC would support him?
I rarely ever agree with Donald Trump, but he tweeted something the other day that never bet against Donald Trump. Here's what I never bet against Donald Trump doing the improbable. And I think if he tries to do that, that really is sort of the Republican Party's worst nightmare, because in their effort to move beyond to a post-Trump world, all this does is tie them up for the next 4 years. And there is another generation of leaders down the road who would love to assert themselves. It's virtually impossible to do that with the giant shadow that is cast by Donald Trump. So should he do it, it will certainly keep him in the news. It certainly it gives him a leverage to start this media empire that he's rumored to be doing, and to help his branding for his hotels. But historically, it's probably improbable, but that won't stop him from trying.
Yeah, okay. Zerlina, Chris, Kurt, good to see all three of you. Thank you guys so much. In his first public remarks in about a week, the president effectively said he could deny one state the coronavirus vaccine, and the governor of that state wasted no time at all in firing back. We'll share details next.
Wow, it sounds to me like the president is using this vaccine now as a blackmailing tool to blackmail various governors of who it's going to and who it's not going to. It's chaotic. This is bizarre. This is not what America's supposed to be about. Everything that you're seeing on the level of it being peaceful, godly, and civilized goes against the grain, goes against the core of what our ancestors originated for any such doing such as this. Good luck to all of us. As we say again at the Windmill Ministries, good luck to each and every one of us, and God bless America.